At age 16, Ubaldo "Baldy" Lawrence Merlino came to the United States from Taranto, Puglia, Italy, in 1903. Baldy Merlino is one of those typical stories of the poor immigrant boy who worked hard and became a success. Only, it's not so typical anymore. He was 16 and fresh off the boat from Italy when an agent in New York tagged him and a cousin to go to Seattle, where a relative resided. They were given 12 loaves of bread, 4 salamis, and 4 bottles of wine for the 7-day trip. He lived there and worked in a coal mine for 3 years before coming to the Colorado mines. On December 21st, 1913, Ubaldo married Angela Muschetti. In the spring of 1932, the Merlinos and their 6 children moved into Brookside, Colorado, a small town 4 miles south of Canon City. When Ubaldo first moved to Fremont County, he earned a living by working in the nearby coal mines. Baldy Merlino was so strong that he could work a full shift in a 4-foot-high coal mine in southern Colorado, crawling on knee pads all the while and not even having a sore back. "I could do any job in the mines," he boasted. "I could cut the coal, drive the mule, load the coal, cut the timber and put them up. Anything." Baldy would be loading 15 tons today if they hadn't retired him in the prime of life, when he was 65. That was after 44 years in the coal mines, during which I never missed a shift. The Merlinos moved into Canon City in the spring of 1932 for a very practical reason. By living outside the city limits, Baldy didn't have to pay the $10 a month tuition fee for resident children attending Canon City junior and senior high schools. 6 Merlino children were 15 and under. With $4,000 borrowed from a relative, Baldy purchased 8 acres of land along US 50, now Colorado 115, the highway to Florence. For another $750, he had a vacant ranch house moved to the property. About 200 cherry and apple trees were on the land. Angela and the kids cultivated a vegetable garden. The family raised chickens, pigs, and a cow. Merlino sought to capitalize on the traffic passing his front door by pumping gasoline for several years. He also set up a stand to sell Marvin's Cherry Drink, a Denver bottled product. The Depression got to Marvin, and the source of that item disappeared. In 1935, things got worse. The Merlinos couldn't get 2.5 cents a pound for the cherries from their trees. Angela decided to cook them, and with the syrup make cherry cider. She made some 600 gallons that summer, and it sold well at 10 cents a glass. Each fall, Baldy had been taking apples to a nearby cider mill to press juice for friends in Colorado Springs. In 1939, the mill owner turned Baldy down. "You're taking away our business," he said. "Let your friends buy cider from us." Baldy was determined to make his own cider and then some. He built a big shed behind his home, obtained some wooden starved barrels, a crude filter and a pulverizer, got a hydraulic press from Goshen, Indiana, and went into the cider business for himself. The mill could handle a lot of fruits, so the family planted more trees, both apple and cherry. If nothing else, Baldy accomplished one thing other parents could envy. He taught his children and grandchildren to work hard. Baldy himself set an example by running the new business, farming, and continuing to work his shift in the mines. His first apple cider sold in Canon City for 25 cents a gallon. A few years before Baldy retired, his son Tony and brother-in-law Warren Hardesty were sitting in the living room talking about what they wanted to do. Like his father, Tony felt one job wasn't enough to keep them busy. Tony wanted to start a construction company, while Warren wanted to start a restaurant. So the two tossed a coin and let fate decide what business they would go into. Warren Hardesty won the toss. In 1946, they used a portion of the Merlino land just east of the home to construct a restaurant they called the Club Belvedere. The name Belvedere was chosen because Warren had fought on Mount Belvedere during World War II in Italy. He was injured, received a Purple Heart, and was sent back to the States. When he arrived by boat in the States, his first night's lodging was at the Belvedere Hotel. The word Belvedere, meaning beautiful acres or beautiful estates in Italian, had special meaning for him. The boys, Warren and Tony, worked odd jobs during the day, and at night they dug the Belvedere by hand. Later in life, Tony would be asked why they dug basement rooms and had the lounge, Mediterranean room, and Roman room under the parking lot. He would reply, "My father was a coal miner, you know." The original two-story structure had seating for 200 people. It began with a room called Old Front, a private downstairs banquet room called Blossom Room, and an upstairs room or dance hall. Warren Hardesty later decided to leave the restaurant business, and brother Joe Merlino left California and joined the family business. As time went on, the Merlinos added on to the restaurant. The first rooms added were the Old Back and the Mediterranean room. Another room was the steak room. The purpose of this room was to have a room that served only steaks. A nice idea, but not very practical. The name of the room became the Roman room. The final addition to the Belvedere was the upstairs kitchen. The staff grew to 55, but Joe and Tony, alternating nights, did all the cooking. Reservations came in from as far away as Boulder, Denver, and eastern Kansas. There were regular customers that flew in from Kansas City or drove from Oklahoma and Texas. The specialties, steaks, and homemade Italian dishes. Like Baldy, the sons and grandsons believed in plain talk. Customers were told to be patient. The menu announces, "Your meal is completely prepared for you at the time your order is received." This takes more time than steam table cooking, so relax. A good meal is worth a few extra moments that you may wait. In 1981, after 35 years together with his brother, Joe Merlino retired. At the time, Tony was 60 years old. In the early 70s, Tony had open heart surgery, and it became apparent that he would need assistance in running the family business. In 1981, at the age of 36, Mike Merlino made a decision to leave his job as a customer service director in the United States Postal Service in Missoula, Montana. Mike joined his father, Tony, and they worked in a made-from-scratch kitchen, replicating the day-to-day recipes that had been in the Merlino family for generations. In early 1986, Tony and Mike Merlino began to build a laundry room in one of the storage rooms of the cider mill. The purpose of the laundry room was to maintain a better quality of tablecloths and napkins than what was available through a commercial service. Unfortunately, Tony Merlino didn't live to see the completion of the laundry room. Tony passed away in September of 1986. Mike's wife, Kathy, took an active role in the management of the business along with their children, Adam and Michelle. Adam Merlino pursued a culinary degree at Le Cordon Bleu, Portland, Oregon. Michelle graduated from Canon City High School and attended Colorado State University, Fort Collins, where in 2005 she graduated with a Bachelor of Arts degree in graphic design. In July of 1997, Mike closed the cider company. As superhighways passed by the mom-and-pop vegetable fruit stands, the cider business had declined and become unprofitable. Although closing the cider company was a smart business decision, the emotional aspect of closing the cider mill after 61 years of operation was the most difficult. Baldy left a legacy for there to be a will to work and a smile. For years, the Merlinos had a private baker bake their fresh Italian bread daily in the private baker's own bakery. The baker had a stroke, so in March of 1993, Mike and Kathy built a bakery in the old apple pressing room of the cider mill. As you pull up to the restaurant and wonder what that fresh smell is, it's the fresh spaghetti sauce cooking as it's prepared in batches of 60 to 120 gallons 3 times a week. In April of 2001, the bakery was expanded to include a new pasta machine so that all the pasta, spaghetti, fettuccine, lasagna, etc., is made in the bakery and pasta shop. Mike and Kathy subdivided the old orchard, 6 acres behind the office, in the spring of 1999. The first annual Belvedere Blues Festival took place in September 2000, and the proceeds from that event were donated to the Fremont County Adult Literacy Program. Through the Orchard of Hope Foundation and the subsequent Belvedere Blues Festival Foundations, Fremont County nonprofits and special humanitarian causes have received about $225,000.
Thank you for calling Merlino's Belvedere Restaurant. We have received hundreds and hundreds of phone calls, and we want to thank all of our customers that have frequented the restaurant for the past 67 years. The restaurant closes permanently at the end of business Tuesday, December 31st, 2013. There is no seating available through December 31st. We cannot take any reservations, to-go food orders, or walk-in customers. Again, we thank you from the very bottom of our hearts. Blessings to all, Kathy and Mike Merlino.
It was Buddha who first said, "All things must pass." And so it is with 67 years of memories and so much more, thanks to the Merlino family. It was novelist Frank Herbert who said, "There is no real ending. It's just the place where you stop the story."